Alright guys, so we're going to do an updated tier list here for Honkai Star Rail. Now that everybody's getting close to the end game, well, I'm in the end game. I think people are starting to reach there. If not, you'll get there pretty soon. It's not going to take you too long, honestly. But if you're playing through the story, enjoy the story, take your time, because once you reach the end game, it's a grind fest. And today we're going to do something a little bit different. We're going to be looking at a tier list here that was made by pridewin.gg, and we're going to go over this, and I'm going to tell you guys what I think about this tier list, and if I think some placements for these characters should be higher or lower, and give you my opinion on it and see if I agree with a lot of these things or not. But before we move on, guys, make sure you guys subscribe, like the video if you like the video, and share this around. All right, first it's gonna be the easiest one to point out, seele, right? The beast monster unit. I agree with this totally. Seele with the extra turns can just straight up destroy waves. Not as much as the AoE clearer. She does two things at once, right? She's mainly more of a single target unit, but being able to take out more than one unit and being a heavy hitting single target unit is a luxury, guys. So seele definitely top tier, and she puts out great damage. Fastest unit in the game, whether she gets her extra turns or not through her resets, if she kills an enemy or not, she's still going to be the fastest unit in the game, taking a lot of turns. So I agree with this. Let's just get right into Bronya and Tung-Yun. Now, I totally agree with this. Bronya, really busted unit. Tung-Yun, really good unit, right? She's a 4-star unit at that. But here's my thing, right, guys? I think Bronya, she is right now the best buffing support in the game, so I believe she definitely belongs in the double S tier. I don't think she goes lower. On top of that, she advances a unit to go again and brings them up to take their turn again and by 100%, which is very valuable, and it can be good for your DPS or debuffers or take you out of sticky situations. It does cost a skill point though, so I can see why he might want to drop him down to S+, but the fact that this unit damage boosts so much is going to be a big deal, and can cleanse you as well while she's doing it with her E. Not the best cleansing, because let's say a unit is debuffed and you want to cleanse them and you don't want to use that 100% forward on them or the attack buff on them necessarily for like a support. She's not going to be mainly used for cleansing, but her having that cleanse on her E is still going to be really good. But I think Bronya is definitely a double S unit just because of the high damage potential she can give, not just to one person but the entire team. So yeah, I think Tung-Yun stays in S+. The only unit that can give you energy, which is definitely unique, and the only unit that does that right now, so she definitely belongs up there. She's a 4-star unit too at that, so yeah, she tackles that very well. Now these units right here, I do believe Bailu is the best healer in the game, so I think she does belong in the double S tier. We do have Natasha as our 4-star healer for our next healer, but I don't think that Bailu should be placed in S+, only because she is our only 5-star and best healer in the game. And honestly, her healing is really insane. When she does her ultimate, she puts this buff on you called Invigorate. If your allies take damage, they will go ahead and heal it up, and it doesn't even have a turn cooldown, so it'll stay on you as long as the person doesn't get hit, but if they do hit, it starts counting down. Now also, one insane thing about Bailu, which is kind of a cheat code, is her passive, right? Or I think they call it talent here, and that is that she can revive a unit if it falls. Guys, revive is huge, especially when you're in like the end game content like Forgotten Hall or Simulated Universe, where you don't want that unit to be downed and you need that unit for the rest of the fight. Bailu is going to save you for that, and she's going to be a huge saver, like lifesaver. Literally, that's what her passive does. So yeah, she definitely belongs in the double S tier. Next, we got Japard. And as I stand corrected, guys, in my tier list, I put him as an A, but I personally wanted to put him in the top tier, well, among with seele and the other and Bronya and the double S characters I had, only because I knew he was gonna be used in the end game. Early game, people don't really care about shields. Enemies aren't too hard. No need for shielding units. You just want to clear content. And maybe on a fight or two, you might be able to use them. But end game, right, where your bosses are going to be hitting really hard, where it's team comp reliant, where your glass cannons aren't going to want to get touched by the bosses, because again, they hit like trucks. Japard is going to do that. He's going to bring attention to himself. It's not a taunt, which is going to relieve a lot of pressure from you worrying about your damage units or your supports getting hit. He's also going to put a massive shield that is a low cost on energy, and he can just keep recycling through that. and he has a freeze on an E, guys. You guys already know how much I stress how much I love freeze, because it's basically a stun. You can go ahead and hit someone, and then when they get frozen, they lose their turn, right? So huge E ability that he has there to neutralize a single target unit. Again, it's single target, it's not as good as March 7th, but his shields make up for it, right? He's mainly there for the huge shields. He has a slight CC and brings attention to himself, and if he gets down, he can bring himself back up. Huge unit. Honestly, I think S plus is a really good placement for him. Honestly, I wouldn't mind putting him at double S, but it's not a real taunt, right? If he did have a taunt, I think I would put him in double S, but I think we'll keep him at S plus for now. Fire Trailblazer, I've always talked really high on this unit. I think this unit has a lot of potential, and the fact that this is the unit that only has taunt and really does bring attention to them is a huge deal. Like I said, it just keeps your team safe, and she puts shield and stuff, so pretty decent. Not the best damage, of course, because their job is to tank and stuff, so I honestly would put them at S plus as well, and they scale off defense as well, so they're very tanky. Good unit. I think we could keep them at S plus. Now, to be honest, guys, for Clara, I think Clara is a good unit. She's more of a counter unit, and you need people like March 7th to make Clara be the one to get attacked more often. Now that makes her very team reliant, so that's why I don't agree with her being an S plus 1, right? 2, I don't agree with her in being S plus is because when, let's say, the breaking mechanic is a huge thing in this game, guys. When you break a unit, they're in the turn meter, they go all the way down, right? They get reset back down to 0 on the action bar. So you know, Clara only really shines when she's getting attacked or her team's getting attacked when she uses her ultimate. So in the meantime, while they're in the break stage, all she can really do is basic attack and her E, which is not too useful, especially since she's considered a destruction unit, right? Destruction units do pretty decent damage, which she does, but again, she needs to get attacked. So that's why I think she can get brought down from S plus. I think honestly, I would probably put her in the S tier. I don't think I would necessarily put her at S plus because of that, but she is a great unit that can absorb damage and that she can put out great damage as well, or again, as long as she gets hit. But that's my thoughts on her. I would probably put her in S, maybe even A. I probably wouldn't go A, I'd probably put her in S. Now for the next tier unit, guys. Well, I think this unit is I think he's good where he's at S, honestly. If honestly, I can probably put him up to S plus because he's the only imaginary unit in the game, right? Which gives him a lot of value. And then on top of that, he's the only manipulator for the turn meter that we have, which is huge, guys. Turn manipulation is a huge thing. Like honestly, the enemies will barely get any turns. His E is a little random, you know, but the speed downs that he could provide and the delay on the action bar or the turn meter, whatever you want to call it, that he does is huge. So I think honestly I would put well at S plus or SS, to be honest. I don't think he deserves to be an S, but you know, it is what it is. S is not too bad of a placement either. Now next we got Pella. I think Pella's good. She drops the defense down. That's mainly what she's used for, and she can dispel a buff. You kind of want to bring her in fights where the target, the enemy buffs themselves a lot, but honestly she can easily be replaced with like a buffer. If you don't have Pella, you can use Asta instead. But the defense down is very nice to have to amplify the damage. But I do think Pella is a very valuable unit. Do I think she belongs in the S tier? Yeah, I guess so, because she's the only one really that drops defense down. There's Lycones that do it, but she's the only one that does it and at an AoE pace, which is really good. I guess we could put her in the S tier. She's pretty good, honestly. Next we got Yangqing. I think Yangqing belongs in a higher tier. The reason why they have him lower is because if he gets hit from his E ability, he loses his damage boost, right? So that's the only reason why. But this is a unit not only that can bring in a lot of damage, but it can also provide a huge CC, which is freeze again, guys, and it can make an enemy lose their turn potentially. So a unit that has crazy high damage and that can provide one of the strongest CCs in the game is super valuable to me, guys. For me, he's in the S plus tier. I don't know about the S tier, but I guess S tier is not too bad, right? Su Shang, Hook, and Don Hang. These units are really good. I think Su Shang should definitely get bumped up a little bit more because she is going to be the hardest hitting single target DPS unit we have. Honestly, she's going to be a little bit more valuable in those single target fights than Clara is, because when the unit's broken, she's going to do a bunch of damage. She's gonna take extra turns too, just like Seele with her ultimate. Hook and Don Hang, again, they're good single target units that they do their thing, right? And I think these are good placements for them. I think Hook should probably get placed a little bit higher because she definitely hits pretty hard for single target, and she also does AoE. I could probably put her in S+, but S tier is not bad. But Don Hang, he's definitely good at S. And then March 7 and Natasha, I think Natasha should definitely be higher. Just because, again, she's one of the only 2 healers we get. I think Natasha should definitely be in the SS tier as far as the defensive and support, just because she's very, very good at what she does, and healing, cleansing, AoE healing. Just build her with a lot of HP, guys, if you want her to do a good amount of healing. But she will save you, and she will help out your team a lot. So, and she puts a heal over time on your people. But again, it's relying on how much HP she has. March 7th, I think this unit is okay. I'm not too big on her. I know she's the face of the game. I love March 7th guy. I love her personality. She's very bubbly, but the only useful thing I see in her is her ultimate that freezes, which is, you know, I love freeze, but that's all she really brings to the table is the AoE freeze. The shield is really good. It's a high shield that she puts on someone, but it can make them be very likely to be attacked. And most of the time you're going to put this on people that are squishy. So like, let's say Seele gets attacked, she gets chunked down to half HP. You put that shield on her, yeah, she'll be able to take another hit, but if she has a little bit of that shield, she'll still be susceptible to being attacked again, because the shield, her E ability does that. So I'm not a big fan of that. Honestly, I'd drop March 7th to A, but I'd bring up Natasha to either S+ or SS. And then next we got Himeko. Himeko is our the best AoE damage dealer we have in the game right now, and because of that, I think she should be at least brought up to S tier. She's not going to be the best single target unit, but she can farm really well. She can do a bunch of AoE damage that when you need it. Now, because her single target damage is not going to be that good, I can see why he brought her down to A, but because she's the best out, being the best AoE damage dealer, especially when she takes out swarms of enemies, she resets her ultimate, gets a bunch of enemy energy back. I think she should be brought up to S, but A is not too bad of a rating, so I guess we can agree. I'd slightly agree on that. Jing Shui, I think this unit belongs way lower. I think she belongs in the C tier. This unit, she does get better with Eidolons, but just the fact that you're gambling your skill points to see if you'll be able to get your jade tiles or whatever, or jade stones, it's very gambling, not reliable. I wouldn't put this unit up here, but the reason why she does hold a lot of value is because if you don't have Seele, she's going to be the only quantum unit you get, and she's free. So I still wouldn't put her at A. If anything, I'd put her at B. Sampo is a very damage over time relying unit. He's not really going to do too much unless you put him in a team where there's a lot of dots on the enemy. So I wouldn't put Sampo in A. I would drop him down to B. Serval, I'd actually bring up Serval a bit more in S, even though she's very situational, guys. We don't really have thunder units in the game other than Arlan, and let's be real, Arlan, nobody's really gonna want to use Arlan because he injures himself. Serval keeps herself nice and safe, does good damage, provides dots, extends those debuffs, and she's pretty solid for a 4-star damage lightning unit that we have. Maybe later on when more units come out, lightning units come out, you'd probably drop her down, but I bring honestly Serval in this category with the S tier with these bunches of damage dealing units. Just saying, that's just my opinion. Asta, I think Asta is a very great unit. She's such a great breaker. She provides attack buffing as well, and that speed buff is huge, guys. Honestly, I would put Asta in the S tier, just because that speed buff is crazy. Her E is not as good as it used to be, but you know what, let's just keep her in A. We can keep her in A, but for me, I don't mind putting her in S, but we can keep her in A for now. And then the next two, I just spoke on Arlan. honestly, I'd put him in C. Trailblazer physical, I think this unit has a good placement at B. Even though you can get all his Eidolons, he's still, he's very lackluster. All he really does is just physical damage. It's really nice that his ultimate gives you the ability to switch between single target or AoE, which is pretty good, but that's about all he really does, guys. And then Herta, damn, Herta at the low placement. Now this unit has terrible single target damage. I can see why they would put this unit down low, but honestly, I don't think Herta belongs. Don't think that she belongs to be this low. If anything, I'd put Arlan down here. But I'd switch Arlan and Herda. I put Herda in the B tier. I wouldn't put Herda that low, just because I think the spin to win technique that she has is really good, and for farming she's really good. And she, you know, that's basically it. She's not gonna be hurting herself like Arlan is, that is relying on supporting and stuff. But yeah, that is what I think, guys, where I think I would place these units and my thoughts on this tier list. Overall, I think it's a solid tier list. Yeah, now that we're in the end game, people are starting to you know, rearrange some units and stuff like that, which, you know, it's just normal in any game, especially when you start off with an early game tier list and getting to the end game. But yeah, that's it here, guys. Let me know what you guys think about this updated tier list, and I will see you guys in the next one. It's your boy Jada. I'm out. Peace.